All right, welcome back to the channel. So, wow, man, we had a great heavyweight fight tonight. Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury closed out their trilogy fight, and it is absolutely official. Tyson Fury got the best of that trilogy, and he beats Deontay Wilder in very, very impressive and brutal fashion. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So first things first, Tyson Fury deserves the credit for this fight with Deontay Wilder. Not going to shortchange him on his credit. He absolutely dominated Deontay Wilder in a fight that was, I can't describe it as any other way than brutal. Deontay Wilder, I do believe, gave the absolute best that Deontay Wilder could give in that fight. Tyson Fury, just plain and simply, man, was just too much for Deontay Wilder. He's too skilled. He was too big. He was too rough. And just over time, Tyson Fury wore him down, and Tyson Fury got him out of there. And that is pretty much the only thing that you can say about that fight. Tyson Fury, man, what can I say, man? That was a brutal fight. Tyson Fury's, what he did in that fight was he pretty much just went in there and mauled Deontay. Like I said was going to be the case. That Tyson Fury was going to go in there, he's going to maul Deontay Wilder, he's going to wear Deontay Wilder down, and then he was going to press and surely try to go with Deontay Wilder, and that's what Tyson Fury did. I don't want to say anything about the gloves. There was things about the gloves that came out that he had that basically wore the same horsehair, very thin gloves that allowed him to have more contact. But honestly, man, I really don't think that that was it. I just think that Tyson Fury is just a more well-rounded fighter. He's just a sharper fighter. And Deontay Wilder, you know, has a lot of heart. Deontay Wilder has a lot of power. He has a lot of talent, but he just doesn't have the total package to be able to deal with Tyson Fury, who's just a lot bigger guy than him. You know, Deontay Wilder, I think in this fight, I'm not going to say, I don't think that there's any shame on Deontay Wilder in this fight, because Deontay Wilder, if nothing else, man, showed that this dude really has the heart of a lion. There's a lot of guys, man, that would have quit in that fight early on in the fight. But Deontay Wilder really just tried to muster all that he can. I thought Deontay Wilder was in trouble early in the fight, but then Deontay Wilder winds up after he gets dropped by Tyson Fury, winds up roaring back and, you know, dropping Tyson Fury, you know, 2 times in the same round. But after that, you know, Tyson Fury he's just too much for the guy, man. So, you know, I won't say that I do believe that Deontay Wilder's career is over, but I will say this, man. Deontay Wilder took a very big beating in that fight. And I'm not sure really, you know, if it's a situation, man, where he's going to really wind up, you know, being able to win another belt off of Tyson Fury. He's not going to beat Tyson Fury. That's just a very, very bad matchup for him, man. And honestly, man, I don't know where Deontay Wilder is going to go with his career on this. I've been supporting Deontay Wilder pretty much through the whole thing. And I'm going to reiterate, dude, that Tyson Fury, I absolutely positively believe Tyson Fury is a cheater, without a doubt. I believe that dude, because he tested positive for performance-enhancing drugs, I think that is legitimate. I think that those gloves, I think that, you know, all of the physical stuff that he does in the ring and all that stuff, I think was physical. I mean, I think was real. Deontay Wilder, and as far as that water and all that stuff, I think that very well may have been real because Deontay Wilder was not behaving in this fight like he behaved in the last fight. His legs weren't gone from the first round. Deontay Wilder was fighting 7, 8, 9 good rounds, but it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, you know, if you have a guy that is just a better fighter than you and he's doing those extra things, this is what's going to take place. So, you know, I don't really even know what to say about Deontay Wilder's career going forward. A lot of people say that Deontay Wilder's career is going to be over if he lost. I do believe, though, that with the type of beating that Deontay Wilder took in this fight, that Deontay Wilder is really going to have to take some time off before he gets back in the ring. I think that that's the only honest, fair thing to say about it. But honestly, man, it was a really, really, you know, from the beginning to end, man, it was an extremely exciting fight. Deontay Wilder gave it the best that Deontay Wilder could give, but Tyson Fury was just too good for him. And that's the only way that you can look, the only way that I can look at the fight, man, is that Deontay Wilder put everything out on the table that he had. He put all his heart, all his energy in there. He fought, honestly, man, he fought the best fight, as good a fight as I thought he could fight. I mean, he fought several of the early rounds. I think he won several of the early rounds. But just as time went on, you could just tell that he was getting tired and getting more tired. Tyson Fury's punches were sharp. Tyson Fury, you could tell at a certain point what Tyson Fury was setting him up for. It was only a matter of time. And Tyson Fury at a certain point in time just started running numbers on him. Like that last knockout was an absolutely vicious knockout, man. And really was something that he probably did not need to take. And so when people I think it's fair to be honest when we talk about boxing, right? So a guy like Andre Ward, who was saying things like, you know what, Tyson Fury, Deontay probably does not want that again, or other people that were saying, that Mark Breland threw in the towel, or somebody threw in the towel, he might have saved Deontay Wilder, from a worse beating and all that. There's a significant chance, man, that we really did see what those guys were talking about in this fight. And that was it, because Deontay Wilder, man, really, at the end of that fight, man, Deontay Wilder took a lot of a lot of punishment, man. And when he got knocked out, man, he got knocked out and he fell dead on his face, man. So, I'm just hoping, man, that Deontay Wilder, after all that over, Deontay Wilder's is healthy. The Deontay Wilder gets a really big payday and all that good stuff, man. But, I think it's just fair to say, man, that is just a wrap on that, man. Between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Tyson Fury is just the better fighter. Like when I did prediction, and I had feelings about this, man, being a supporter of Deontay Wilder, I was very, very clear that I wanted Deontay Wilder to win the fight. I wanted him to have an even playing field and all that. But with the way that Tyson Fury fights and the roughhousing that Tyson Fury does and the leaning on Tyson that Tyson Fury did and all of that type of stuff. I mean, Deontay, don't get me wrong, Tyson Fury was extremely dirty in that fight, right? Extremely dirty in that fight. He was multiple times, he literally held him in the head and hit him with uppercuts at the same time, right? Just a lot of stuff that was going on there. But I mean, to be quite honest though, I don't think that even that, I think that was just extra from Tyson Fury, that if Tyson Fury would have fought that fight all the way out, that Tyson Fury would have won that fight even without that. There was points in times where Deontay Wilder was really hitting Tyson Fury with very clean shots, where Deontay Wilder just didn't have anything on the shots that he was landing on Tyson Fury. So there was really nothing left in the gas tank for him to do, man. It was a very, very Andre Ward type, Kovalev type performance where he just really broke him down and did that. So, and I don't believe really that there's going to be anything that Deontay Wilder is going to be doing, and any changes and stuff that he's going to make that is going to be able to get him in the situation where he's going to beat a guy like Tyson Fury. So, I got to give Tyson Fury, as much as I don't like Tyson Fury, I think Tyson Fury, even without the dirty stuff that I saw in there, I still think Tyson Fury would have won that fight. But at the same time, man, my hat goes off to Deontay Wilder. When he said that he wanted to go out on his shield, that is going out on your shield, dog. Without a doubt, man. Just when you fall, when you give everything that you have, and to the point where you're knocked out and you fall face first on the canvas. I mean, what else can you say, man? That dude's got tremendous heart. He's just got tremendous. Man, I just think very, very highly of Deontay Wilder, and I hope that this doesn't set him back, personally, because I know that losing a big fight like that, after you've worked so hard and you really wanted to get your get back and you don't get it, can affect him, man. But I don't think that there's anything that Deontay Wilder should be ashamed of, man. He laid everything on the line in that fight, but he just ran into the better man in the boxing ring, and it just is what it is, man. So anyway, man, congratulations to Tyson Fury's team. Much love to everybody that, watched the live stream with me, man. But like I said, man, it's just, I wanted Deontay Wilder to win very bad, but I had a feeling the whole time, man, that, Tyson Fury it was a lot to overcome with Tyson Fury, man, and just the roughhousing and all that stuff on a guy that is that big, and quite honestly, man, that is that skilled. But anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Peace.